Hi guys, welcome back. This is Abdurrahman Gilal, and in this video I'll be explaining you something about toString method. So what is toString method? I'll be explaining you with an example. It's going to be very interesting to know that why do we need toString method. But before I go to explain you about toString method, I must tell you that in programming languages, sometimes, not sometimes, most of the time, it's very common to hear some terminologies as a user-defined or predefined. So these two terms you should remember, predefined. So when I say predefined, from the word I understand that something that has been defined already either by the programmers or the developers of the program or programming language. And when I say user defined, which means I'm going to say that this is where we are as a user, developer as a user are defining that. So just for my own explanation, so that when I explain predefined, when I say the term predefined, which means I'm saying something that is already there. So let's go quickly and try to run try to make something here. So I'm gonna make a class. So how to make a class? Usually it's good to have keyword called class in the same file or in any other file. And then first letter should be capital one. So let's say let's make the class, and then you have a method. Sorry, you have a field name like sorry, not like this, a string student name. So that's what we're gonna say, like it's a private one. So anything that basically all the students anywhere in the world, including me and yourself, need to have a name. So let's say this student is a private one, so that this belongs to only this class, which means that if this class toString wants to use it, this is not going to use it. So this only will be available within the boundaries of student class. That's what we have understood about the access modifier. If you have not heard or watched that video, you please go ahead and see the access modifier video as well. So let's say like I'm going to make a constructor here so that I receive a value from the user, so that when the user says returns me something, and then I basically assign that value to the variable that I have here, which is this dot student name, and then this name is coming. So this name is basically coming from the user that is making object of it. So that's it. And let's just quickly see, like if I wanted to access that name, so how to access. So usually like what people do, or the good developers do, that they make two public methods in order to let the private elements of or private variables of a class be available for the public or the users. So how do we do that? Let's say I'm gonna say, like, if you wanted to give a name to someone, so it's best is to return as a string, and then you gotta say like get student name. By default it tells me recommendation. So now if someone wants to know what is the student name, so best is that you say uh you know student this dot student name. So anybody wanted to know the student name, just return through this. And if you found that you made a mistake in in the making names, so what is the best way to rectify the mistake? So it's basically you may have set method that is called set student name, and then you may have anything that you can take again, and then you replace it with the same way that you have assigned as a new variable. So that's all. So I think I have pretty defined the class very well. I have a one name, that is student name is a private, and then I have one constructor and two methods called get student name and set student name. So now I'm gonna make an object of this class here. So how to make the object of the class? So the best way is that I have to have a class name, and I'm gonna have my own class here. Sorry, my own object here, Abdul, and then I'm using new as a keyword, and I'm saying okay. So now if I do not pass any value, it's gonna create a problem, because so we cannot let this be empty because we have already overloaded this. So when we have overloaded that, which means we are going to say that student has to have a name. Without that, you cannot. Otherwise, usually what people do is that they have two constructor. One is a null constructor where they do not provide anything, and they put here like default values or something. But this is not the case here for us, because we are going to put the name for a student anyhow. Otherwise, how we are making the object of the student? So I'm gonna make my complete name here, Abdul Rahman. So Okay, I make a mistake here. I'm gonna say like I'm intentionally making a mistake here. So let's say this is done, and then now I wanted to print something as OUT and deb keywords gonna be having system.out.println. So now if I wanted to print Abdul, so let's run it and see like do I get anything? So you get, wow, that's amazing. You see, we get like student 8 the rate and then 30F 399 and something that I cannot totally interpret. So what does it mean actually? So I must tell you that when you make object, so object is a kind of a composite variable. Like we have this as a variable, for example, string as a variable. So this is string is a variable which is uh, singular in itself. And then if I have another variable such as integer, so if I have an integer variable and that's age value, and I'm going to say like, let's say 10, which is not really my age, but let's say 10. So this is also, a variable that is having single value. And if I wanted to change it, I cannot do that. It will replace the previous value. So this is something is telling me it's easy to handle. But if you have more than one value in a variable, that makes it composite. So definitely authors say that object is a variable, but it's not a singular variable. It is a composite. Why? Because it holds multiple variables, multiple methods, so many things. So it is composite. And we have arrays as another type of example, which we can say like the composite variable. So when we have a composite variable, usually we do not receive every value that is there to be printed. So what happens is that when we write the name of the variable, that is, for example, Abdul, which is the object here. So it will display me the reference of it. It will not show me everything that is there. So what is the best way there that you can now print it out? So one way is that you have this as a method. So they usually what you do is that you do like this way. So get student name. So get student name, will sorry about that, get a student name will help you to print out the name that you wanted to print. But this is not an effective solution if you're working with arrays, because arrays are composite. So what you're going to do then? So best way is that you have a method that is called toString method. This is the objective of the course, and the toString method is a predefined method. So what you can do whenever you write any object name, such as here Abdul, for instance, let me make it simpler again. So when I say Abdul, so this is basically going to the toString method, and toString method is bringing you back the address or reference number of the object. So now I'm going to do one thing. So I'm going to here replace the behavior of the predefined method, that is, so to, but definitely it returns me the string, and this is toString. And whenever I say toString, you're gonna see like it has showing you an arrow that's replacing something. So as soon as you click here, so basically it's gonna say that now you are replacing the original behavior of the toString method. That means that we are trying to do something on it. So I will be explaining you what type of thing is. It's like basically we are going to override the predefined functionality of the method. So we're not going to go into detail, but let's say now it is returning as a string. So let's say how it's going to return as a string. I'm going to say student name equals to, and then I put here this the student name. So now I did not change anything here, but I just replaced the behavior of that method that is here. So if you see here, we are trying to replace the predefined method. So let's run it. And now there you go. So this is a beautiful thing that we did not basically call get name method or get student name or anything, but we just said something that is there already in the toString method. So if you wanted to put anything, any type of display of object in any ways, for example, you wanted to call methods in here, you wanted to call some private variables here, you can do in any way that you like to, but that will be returning as a string. This is one of the things. So let's say if you want to make another object, for example, you want to make another object that is called Alex. So I'm gonna say that Alex. Now I have already you know I have already set the value that is That is now Abdul and Alex. So now you return it. So you're gonna see like, so every time we call this Abdul or Alex, it's returning me something. So now we have already, oh my God, I made a mistake here that I passed the Abdul Rahman as a wrong thing. So now if I wanted to change the Abdul Rahman, so to the proper spell, so I'm gonna set now the the right spelling of it. So now I'm gonna say Abdul Rahman and then I'm gonna run it. So you're gonna see like my spell is correct here. So that's how it works. But that's not it. Like if you wanted to know more about predefined variables or predefined properties of a class that we did not, I did not develop this toString method. By the way, it was there already. I just replaced it. But now let's explore it a bit further. So for example, if you wanted to go and try to see like what other things are there in the class that we define here. So we have toString method. Here you see toString method is there. We have equals method. We have, get class. So at get class. So Abdul, in which class Abdul is, for instance, and I'm running it. So it's gonna return me Abdul is in the class student. That's wonderful. I did not develop anything about get class. If you wanted to make sure that if I have really, developed it anywhere or made any code for this, definitely not. I have done nothing about this class. Oh, sorry, this method. So this is predefined one, as I told you once again. So now if you wanted to see further, let's say you wanted to see like what else is there. So you have equals. So equals to, which means that Abdul object is having any equals to any other object, I'm gonna make an Alex. So let's see, like if Alex and Abdul are the same objects. So false, definitely they are not the same. So if Abdul and Abdul are the same, so if you return, yeah, that's true because Abdul and Abdul are the same, definitely. This is an example that you have predefined method available that's called dot equal. And then if you wanted to explore further, so you are very well to explore them. So these methods I did not define, but definitely these are predefined one. So let's say if you wanted to see the hash code and then you run it. So what is the hash code? So it's basically going to be useful for us to discuss about hash code when we are working on mapping or hash mapping. So when we are working on hashing, this is where we will be trying to know. But in order to just see like these things are predefined available for us to have. So I think it makes some sense. If you got any questions about toString method, or some predefined properties of a method or class, please do not hesitate to drop me a comment or a message. I would love to explain you further. Thank you so much, guys. Please take care.